Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. Constituents of all ages tell me of their concerns on the environment, climate change, plastics, water and recycling, wildlife habitats, and noise from planes, neighbours and cars. I can see no mention of noise in the bill, and I think this is a worrying omission. But because I've got limited time, I'm focusing on one issue of particular local concern, and that's air quality. It causes early deaths and spikes of emergency calls and acute illness on days when air pollution is bad. It's a major issue in my constituency, where we're on major roads running between London and Heathrow, which has inadequate public transport and an over-dependency on car travel. More than 38 million people live in areas where air quality breaches legal limits, and we are among those. We're also seeing concerns about the air pollution from aeroplanes overhead. There's not yet enough data, but that does concern many of my constituents. Now, the Central Office of Public Interest has a postcode-linked website which shows nitrogen dioxide air pollution levels using data from King's College London. The tool shows that my home in the middle of my constituency has significant air pollution from nitrogen dioxide, with an annual average of 36 micrograms per cubic metre, which is just under the WHO legal limit of 40. And this allegedly leads to an 11% increased risk of disease-related mortality for me and my family. By the way, here in Westminster, we're exposed to almost 49 micrograms. The London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, has been taking the lead on air pollution. By taking action and introducing ultra-low emission zones, we've seen a 35% cut in nitrogen dioxide emissions, with over 13,000 fewer polluting cars in central London. He's commissioned zero and low emission buses on the fleet, which has seen a significant cut in NO2 emissions on Chiswick High Road. He's launched a £25 million car scrappage scheme so individuals can trade in dirty and polluting vehicles. And due to his package of air quality measures, the number of schools in London in illegally polluted areas are going to reduce from over 450 to zero by 2025. Mr Deputy Speaker, if only we could see the government take such a bold approach and not just leave it to local authorities, who are faced in this bill with being required to do more with ever less money. Now, one example that the government could take to address both NO2 and fossil fuel emissions, as well as carbon emissions, would be to encourage a shift from fossil fuel to electric vehicles in a robust way, and possibly even more, support people out of cars and onto e-bikes, as in France and Germany, where e-bike sales have shot through the roof. But, Mr Deputy Speaker, this environment bill offers neither bold and meaningful action to help my constituents. In this bill, we have 3 years until dark targets must be set. We have no binding commitments to match WHO guidelines, and the fine particulate PM25 targets don't have to be met until 2037. On top of this, we have provisions that allow ministers to brush aside air quality breaches. We need a bill that gives protection on environmental targets from being watered down in future. And leaving the EU removes a significant weapon for people to continue to be able to take legal action against the government, as has been successfully on a number of air quality cases recently. We need a much bolder and more significant approach from government, and we need government to legislate for a legal right for everyone to be able to breathe clean air.